One of the most incredible parallels in the entire Bible is found right here. But you have to know the Hebrew Bible and the Hebrew calendar to catch it. In verse 11, all the king's servants and the people of the king's provinces know that any man or woman who goes into the inner court to the king, she's replying to Mordecai, says, you got to go to the king. You must entreat the king and tell him to stop this. She says, I can't. If I go into the inner court of the king without being asked, I will die. He says, anybody that goes in that's not been called, he has but one law, and that's death. Except the one who the king holds out the golden scepter that he may live. How many times, ladies and gentlemen, have we glanced through this in Scripture, not even looked at this as the high priest? Anybody that goes into the Holy of Holies that is not the high priest on the one day of the year, Yom Kippur, they will die. But she says that there is one exception. The golden scepter has to be held out. That is grace. And then you'll live. So chapter 5 says this. Now it happened on the third day. The third day from when? The day yesterday it was the 13th. All this was happening. On the third day, Esther put on her royal robes and stood in the inner court of the king's palace. On which day? The third day. You should be doing like cartwheels or something. You will in a second. Watch this. This is the connection. Because it just so happens that 500 years later, almost 450 years later, from this time of Esther, there was a man named Yeshua. And on the 13th day, the same day of the first month, was Passover. Was the night where he had dinner with his disciples on the 13th day. The decree was made by Yeshua on the 13th day. 3 days later, he would rise, put on his royal robes, and stand before the King of Kings and the Holy of Holies and declare that his people are free. So from the 13th, there was a 3-day fast until the third day.